Winter has cometh, and so have I. Don't dwell on that, or I'll poke your eye. Instead, why don't you dwell on these new announcements from Kamen Rider, brought to you by me, Michael, in this brand new Rider Rewind. What is Rider Rewind, I hear you ask? Well, Rider Rewind is a show where I cover the latest and greatest in Rider drivers, henshin devices, and figures, all released or announced in the last 3 to 4 weeks. Now that we're all up to speed, let's begin. Up first today is the S.H.Figuarts Takumi Inui, which was unveiled at this year's Tamashii Nations earlier this month. This being a figure of Kamen Rider Faiza's untransformed state, as seen in, well, Kamen Rider Faiz, a type of figure we don't get often enough. While this may not be a Shinkocho Seiho, they did use the scanning technology for those figures for this release. Specifically, they scanned Kento Hanada's hands and face, then digitally painted over it, so that the figure looks very close to how Takumi looked in the show. The figure stands at 145mm tall and comes with a detachable Faiz driver and Faiz phone, 2 extra faces, a huge amount of interchangeable hands, and a Faiz body outline stand to recreate the henshin scene from the show. Up next is the S.H.Figuarts Shinkocho Seiho 10th anniversary version Kamen Rider Gatak from Kamen Rider Kabuto. To coincide with the re-release of Shinkocho Seiho Kabuto for the toy line's 10th anniversary, we're also getting a re-release of Gatak. This figure is the exact same as the Shinkocho Seiho Gatak from 2017. All that's been added is a special Shinkocho Seiho 10th anniversary base. While this may just be a re-release, it is however a re-release of an absolutely astounding figure, and will look even more astounding next to your Kabuto. Our third item of today is also the last figure for today. Well, the last figure I can cover at least. So allow me to introduce you to the S.H.Figuarts Shinkocho Seiho Kamen Rider Double Cyclone Skull from the movie Futo Tante, The Portrait of Kamen Rider Skull. This is a slight retooling of the S.H.Figuarts Shinkocho Seiho Kamen Rider Double Futo Tante version, released a little while back. I covered it if you remember. The biggest differences being that this uses Skull instead of Joker for the body half double, a brand new form from the brand new movie. The figure stands at 145mm tall and comes with a sizable amount of interchangeable hands and the Skull Magnum. The movie has actually been out in Japanese cinemas for a while, but I haven't seen it, so I've got no idea why Double now is a skull form change. But I'm sure it makes perfect sense and looks badass in the movie. Speaking of things the Japanese have seen, but we in the West haven't, the other figures I alluded to at the start of this segment. During this year's Tamashii Nations, an incredible amount of figures were unveiled, but most of them have yet to get release information, like official images, so I can't cover them here yet. But I promise that once they are officially unveiled, you will see them here. Our first non-figure item of today is the exciting DX Keikin Gochizo and Gabu Whippier from Kamen Rider Gabu. These are the henshin device and weapon used by Kamen Rider Gabu to turn into Kamen Rider Gabu Keiking form. That's right, we finally get to see what Gabu's first super form looks like, and, in my humble but completely correct opinion, it looks amazing. Looks aside, here's how to use the DX Keikin Gochizo. Take the DX Keikin Gochizo and set it into the DX Henshin Belt Gabu. Then, close the mouth with the Henshin Belt and start turning the handle. Lastly, you press the button on the side of the Henshin Belt and you'll transform into Kamen Rider Gabu Keiking form. After transforming, you can turn the handle again, then press the button on the side again and you will unleash a finisher. In this form, Gabu uses the Gabu Whippier, and as such it comes with the DX Keikin Gochizo. You can pull the trigger on the handle to play slashing sounds, by turning the whipped green above the crossguard, I guess? And then pressing the trigger, you unleash a finisher. By setting the DX Keikin Gochizo into the DX Gabu Whippier, turning the whipped cream, and then pressing the button, you unleash a super finisher. Other DX Gochizo can also be set onto the Gabu Whipper for various finishers. Up next is a special release item, the DX Bushel Gochizo from Kamen Rider Gabu. This Gochizo can be used by either Gabu or Valen to turn into either Kamen Rider Gabu Bushel form or Kamen Rider Valen Bushel form. Here's how to use it for Gabu. First, you set the DX Bushel Gochizo into the DX Henshin Belt Gabu. Then, you close the mouth of the Henshin Belt and turn the handle. Lastly, you hit the button on the side of the Henshin Belt, transforming you into Kamen Rider Gabu Bushel form. And here's how to use it for Valen. First, you set the DX Bushel Gochizo onto the DX Valen Buster. Then, you close the sides of the Valen Buster and pull the trigger, transforming you into Kamen Rider Valen Bushel form. I mentioned that this was a special release, and that is correct. This isn't a normal DX release, and neither is it a P-Bandai item. It's a bonus you can get by purchasing from a select few DX Gabu items. As always, it's a super limited item and unlikely to come with purchases made by us in the West. So, if you want this, you'll have to either take to eBay or ask nicely in the Tokusource Discord server to see if the boss man won't track one down for you. Our last two items of today are so similar, I decided it'd be best to just cover them together. So allow me to introduce you to the DX Oshabiri Gochizo Set 01 and Set 02 from Kamen Rider Gabu. Now, I know what you're thinking, trust me, I do. And yes, you are correct. These are just the DX Poppin Gummy, Kickin Gummy, Chokodon, and Chokodan Gochizo again. But this time, as the name implies, they can talk. That's right, all 4 of these Gochizo have gained sentience. So when you put them out of their misery to transform into your preferred Kamen Rider, you really will be killing them. More specifically, the talking has 2 types. The first type is various sounds made by the Gochizo themselves, the same incoherent me you hear them make in the show. The second is voice lines belonging to the rider the Gochizo belongs to. So for the Poppin, Kickin, and Chokoran Gochizo, the voice lines will be spoken by Hidekazu Shinen as Shoma, and the Chokoran Gochizo voice lines will be spoken by Yusuke Hino as Hanto. Lastly, all 4 of these Gochizo can play the chorus version of God Boost, and the Poppin, Gummy, and Chokoran Gochizo can also play specific BGM related to their rider. The various voice lines can still be played over the music, by the way. Set 01 comes with the DX Poppin Gochizo and the DX Kickin Gochizo. Set 02 comes with the DX Chokodan Gochizo and the DX Chokodan Gochizo. Oh, and in case you're wondering, yes, all 4 Gochizo still work with all the DX Gabu drivers. And so, yet another Rider Rewind ends. A shorter one, but really, length doesn't matter. Or at least that's what my wife keeps telling me. Alright, if you want any of the items shown here, or just in the mood for some tokusatsu merchandise, then be sure to check out the Toku Source, the one-stop shop for any European in need of anything and everything Toku related. If you've got some stuff you want to show off that's Toku related, or just want to talk to other tokusatsu fans, then be sure to join the Toku Source Discord. Tell him Michael sent ya. And lastly, I have some socials you can follow, though honestly I wouldn't. Links to all of these things can be found in the description below. Alright, I've yapped for long enough, so see you all next time!